When we speak about the best in a certain field, there always seems to be a rivalry of some sorts that comes about. We can go back to Magic and Larry, Kobe and Duncan, hell, Brady and Manning. See, the point is, when greatness arises, so do challenges. If you're in the lead of something, you always gotta work 3 times harder because the person that's not in the lead always gonna attempt to double your work. This phenomenon is something that the greats in hip hop have showcased in the last decade. There's been a lot of great hip hop artists to bless our ears these past 10 years, such as Big Sean, Big Crit, Rhapsody, J. Cole, just to name a few. But the 2 that stood out are, of course, some of the biggest names in the music industry, Drake and Kendrick Lamar. With Drizzy, I feel as if he's a pair of fire retros that released about 8 times in the past few years. In comparison, Kendrick is that holy grail that rarely comes out. Can oversaturation be a bad thing, especially when the majority of the music that a person put out is good? Maybe not. But is it a special? Once again, maybe not. Over the past decade, we've seen Drake break multiple records and become the biggest artist in our culture. We've also seen Kendrick break multiple records, bringing conscious rap to the mainstream. There was no question from the beginning of the decade, we knew Drizzy would be a huge star. Maybe there isn't a better line that prophesies this than his witty yet overconfident line, "Buzz so big I could probably sell a blank disc." Today, that buzz has grown larger than even Drake could have imagined. Having a machine that's known as Young Money backing him couldn't hurt either. Drake's acceptance within the lyrical community and also the mainstream/pop community, which in itself is an anomaly, was at its highest once he dropped the surprise 2015 mixtape, "If You're Reading This Now, It's Too Late." It was solidified. He was the best in the game. No one was dropping quality bars and great songs at such a breakneck speed as Mr. OVO himself at that time. It wasn't until the day that Meek Mill cast that stone and revealed that Drake didn't write his own bars that Drake's acceptance within the lyrical community had dropped. Somehow, in yet another anomaly, Drizzy came out victorious by dropping a club diss record that had everyone making the stink face. A few years later, he was tested again, but this time by more of a cerebral assassin that goes by the name of Pusha T, that dropped bombshell at the bombshell, including the secret at the time that no one knew about. Somehow, despite shot after shot, Toronto's very own came out unscathed, and his acceptance is now higher than it's ever been. The accolades speak for themselves. The one man that had a decade comparable to Drake is King Kendrick, the 5'4" lyrical giant. On glance, he wouldn't appear like a typical megastar. The weird thing about Kendrick is that he never had to deviate or sacrifice who he is to make a record with a message that would have mainstream appeal. How y'all let a conscious nigga go commercial while only making conscious albums? It seems like he's shooting free throws on a Fisher-Price hoop every time he drops, which might be the one knock against Kendrick. We only get to hear new K-Dot once every 3 years. But when he drops, he shakes the game. See, the awards are just thrown at Kendrick. Not to mention he was awarded the Pulitzer Prize for Music, the first non-classical or jazz musician to win the award. And dare I sprinkle a little control verse on top? Kendrick is undeniably the best rapper in the game. But did he run the decade? I feel as if Billboard did get it right, even if they were just talking about record sales. The reason why I give Drake the slight edge is due to the density of his projects, his frequency, and the quality of his work. Definitely a close call, but Drake takes this one. Let's see what Kendrick has this next decade.